What is up, everybody? This is Steve the Breach coming to you here today. I am rolling in on my way home from work. My San Francisco 49ers are still in the NFL playoff hunt. We're going to be playing against the Cowboys this coming up weekend. But my mind is already rushing, thinking, what the hell is going to be going on this offseason in the NFL? Possibly one of the biggest stories that's going to be going on this NFL offseason is going to be, what is the future of Tom Brady? 45 years old, coming off defeat. His time in Tampa looks to be done. No doubt Tampa Bay is probably going to be trying to swing him to come back. It's as easy as it is to say about Tom Brady being washed. He was one hell of a quarterback this year. When he was healthy in Tampa, he set personal records for passing. They seem like they really have an offense that works for Tom. He's in a division where he plays against the Atlanta Falcons, who doesn't really seem like they got much going on. The New Orleans Saints don't really seem like they're building for the foreseeable future as of right now. Still trying to put back pieces together from the Sean Payton and Drew Brees days. It's kind of show up, let's do our job, and we can win this division. We get into the playoffs, we got a chance to do this. Tampa sort of seems like the easiest place to be there. It's just gonna have to be, if that's where he thinks his best chance to win is. That team seemed to really just crumple in the playoffs, and it seemed like at times during the season they were really falling apart. I think that there's a lot to say about what happened during the last offseason with Tom Brady being that ownership job with the Miami Dolphins, him coming back, Bruce Arians retiring from coaching. I know that during that last game they shared a moment on the field together, but was that Bruce Arians who has a job inside of the organization wishing his quarterback luck, or are they really on good terms? It seems like the way that Bruce Arians left the coaching job was a little bit of a power struggle between what he wanted, what he thought was best for the team, and Tom Brady saying that he was coming back. To me, the hottest stove that there is on the burner right now would be the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, they offered him that ownership job that was tied into him playing and being quarterback. The Miami Dolphins, they were a playoff team. They fell to the Buffalo Bills in the first round. There's no nice way to really say this. Tua's brain looks like it's just scrambled eggs, man. He couldn't even pass the concussion protocol in order to play in that playoff game. I'm sure that killed him. And Dolphin fans are wondering, Tua had that problem earlier in the year. I think that he was in the concussion protocol 3 times during this season. Is this sort of something that's just an ongoing problem that they're going to have with him if he sits out the off season? Is he going to come back and maybe he can take some hits, or when he gets hit, is this going to be a problem that's going to come up every season? To me, honestly, if Tua is getting hit and it's scrambling him up, what is Tom going to be back there? I think that maybe Miami doesn't really have the best offensive line, but they're offering him ownership, and that's something that he can move into in the future. That's going to tie into another option that's out there. Last year, a lot of big money, a lot of the bigger companies were throwing around a lot of money to people to be the commentators on their games. A lot of big guys moved. Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, Al Michaels. With a lot of the TV companies changing hands and Amazon getting into the game. Fox went out and they offered Tom Brady a 10-year contract, over $350 million. He signed it, so he sees that in his future. He just says that he doesn't want to do it until he's done. So why would Fox sign into that deal? Why would Tom sign that deal? I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think he can be commentating on games and have an ownership stake in a team. So I don't know if that Dolphin thing is in there, but if the Dolphins got in trouble and they lost draft picks for, going and dirtying up the water, talking to Tom while he was under Tampa Bay's contract, if they're out there sort of admitting what they did and then coming up with the whole, hey, just retire and then we'll bring you back, and then once you take your ownership stake, that's when you can say that you want to come back and play, and we'll work out all that stuff in the middle later. That's tomorrow's problem. I think that they're gonna do it again, unless that's part of the deal with the NFL slapping them on the hands, is that, hey, this better not come up again. Maybe it's off the table because of that. Some people are saying he could go to Tennessee, play with Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel in the Tennessee Titans, I'm not really sure if Mike Vrabel is a really good coach, or if just Derrick Henry is a really good running back who's just running over people and just keeps Tennessee in there. I didn't really hear a lot about Ryan Tannehill this season. I don't know what happens with him, but they seem like they resurrected his career. But like I said, I didn't really hear about him much. To me, that just seems like a weird place for him to play in Tennessee, especially to go out. It doesn't really seem like that's big enough, bright lights, big city for Tom. Going back to New England doesn't really make sense to me, because you don't really want to just throw Mac Jones out for 1 year of Tom Brady for him to say that he retired as a Patriot. Sign him to one of those like one and done deals. Like once it's all said and done, he signs like that 1 day contract, and he can say that he retired a Patriot, even though everybody's gonna remember that last jersey that he played in. It's kind of like Brett Favre. We all remember him going out as a Jet. No, he went out as a Viking. That's what it was. He went to the Jets for a season, then he went to the Minnesota Vikings. So it's like, we remember the time he didn't make the playoffs there, bud. San Francisco, I think that they've got too many quarterbacks is their problem. He might want to go there. He might have been a fan back in the day. But we've got Brock Purdy. We've got Jimmy Garoppolo. We got Trey Lance. That's probably going to be its own separate video about which direction we go in. Who does the coach want? Who does the GM want? I honestly think that I honestly, just think that we got too many quarterbacks. It doesn't really make sense for us to, bring in another one into the fold, especially if it's only going to be for 1 year and we're sort of, going to have to blow everything up in order just to have that one season and think that maybe that, we could win it with that. It's kind of like almost like when we almost brought in Peyton Manning and he ended up going to the Broncos instead. Last option, probably a pretty sexy one in my opinion, and might save the coach's job, would be the Las Vegas Raiders. It's getting a little bit easier to say that, but I think I gotta talk to my brain before I talk to make sure I don't say the Los Angeles Raiders. I say the Las Vegas, but I think that he could go in there. Definitely it seems like Derek Carr is going to get ran out of town. A lot of people say that he's going to end up going to the Jets. And maybe he can gun it there. Being a Jets quarterback is honestly going to be a pretty hard job to do. I mean, they've had Sam Darnold. They had, I can't remember the other one's name. And it just seems like they give them 2 years and they run them out of town. They put all the blame on these guys. New York's a hard market to play in because of the media and things like that. It's just, I don't know. I'd feel bad for Derek Carr going there thinking that he could actually turn things around, because even though they got a really good coach there, that was a damn good defensive coordinator for the Niners. I just don't think it's going to be done. That's just in my opinion. But, a lot of people said that when Brady was doing that interview and he was talking about how he was trying to get his way out of New England, he was almost going to get traded to a certain team. That team ended up getting cold feet and sticking with their guy. A lot of people, I thought that honestly he was talking about the Niners and Garoppolo. Some people have said that he was talking about Tennessee and Ryan Tannehill. But when Gronk came out and he did an interview, he talked about the fact that there was a deal on the table for both of them, Gronk and Brady, to end up in Las Vegas. And I guess maybe the ownership and the coach didn't quite gel with what they were doing, and they ended up sticking with Derek Carr. And maybe that guy that Brady was talking shit about ended up being the Raiders and Carr, and maybe that'll end up in the long run. When it comes down to it, it makes the most sense to me for him just to go and be a commentator, hang it up, and say he's done. Especially with his situation, which sucks, is ended up being a divorced dad and wanting to still be in your kid's life. I know that there's the off season, but during football season, how much are you really going to be able to be home unless you stay in Tampa, and I guess you sort of keep things the way they are. But I mean, if he goes out and he does the commentating job, he could really probably fly out Saturday, do his job getting ready for the game, do the game Sunday. He's got enough money. I mean, he could fly home private right after the game ends, right after he clocks out, and be home that night. Even if it's like a West Coast game, you're getting home early in the morning. You stay up, you make sure you're there when the kids get up, and life doesn't really change that much. I mean, it's a shitty situation. I went through it. A guy like Tom Brady going through it makes it seem like, in my mind, like maybe I didn't screw it up that bad. You know what I mean? Maybe it just shit happens. But we'll see. That's my opinion. I think that honestly, if anything, he's going to the Raiders. If he's not going to the Raiders, he's going to end up in. He'll end up in. If he doesn't end up in I'm sorry, my air conditioner is sitting in my front yard because I'm getting it removed today. But if he doesn't end up in the Raiders, I see him going and staying with Tampa. But I really think that he's going to end up, retiring for real this time and going and taking that commentating job. It makes the most sense to me.